Welcome to Java, and thank you kindly for joining me. It is July 23rd, 2025, and it is Wednesday, Discord Day. So, the major news that came out overnight, you're going to see it everywhere, is that there was a big deal in Japan overnight. Also, this morning, we're going to be affected by Tesla earnings, as well as Google's parent company, Alphabet. Now, as always, there is a bit more behind the scenes than they let on. So, as always, let's get started with what's going on in the markets. Now, we've got fear greed meter definitely set in greed territory. So, we are watching the markets go green, not just in the United States, but also the Japanese markets, and as well as the European market. So we've got some greedy deals going on, but driving it into the green. Everybody's giddy on a Japan deal, but the bonds in particular, the Japan 10-year yield jumped on political uncertainty, but not just that. There was a bond sale that didn't do so well last night, and this is because investors looking out on the horizon see trouble ahead. So when we're looking at these shifting environments, not just with the trade wars, but going forward, there's going to be some definite math that they're going to be looking at that they do not like. So with this, I also want to mention US Nuclear Weapons Agency yesterday in that hack that happened with Microsoft. It targeted their SharePoint program. Now, they found out that it did indeed hit the US Nuclear Weapons Agency as well. So I expect their stock probably not going to do so well this morning, might take a hit from that. In contrast, we'll probably see the likes of the security companies like CrowdStrike could benefit from this. But let's go back to the environment behind all of this that investors are looking at. Now, we've got the 10-year yield did sell off on the treasuries, so that brought the yield up a bit, is a little stronger. This normally would pressure equities, but what's going on is this a sell-off here, and it's moving into the equities markets, not just the United States, but the Japanese market, floating them as well. Now, because it is a trade deal in favor of the US, it is also lending a bit of relative strength to the US dollar. Now, overall, still losing strength at the time, but yesterday I spoke about this, that the relative strength of the dollar would increase from here, and it looks to be starting already. Now, the only oddity is the cryptocurrencies are down a bit. Nothing massive, but still weaker this morning nonetheless, but it did have quite a run yesterday. We've got the futures also saying that it's going to be a green day. If you stay in these trades, it should do pretty well. Now, the calendar is existing home sales this morning, but I brought this up for tomorrow because it's the jobless claims and PMI, and these are what the Fed are looking forward to as far as if they're going to cut. So all of the turmoil there, we'll see what they do. We've got private equity firms flipping assets to themselves in record numbers. This is a massive problem. So this is a shadow of exactly what happened back in 2008, except that those were banks that had oversight. This is private equity firms. They're repackaging these turbo loans with high interest rates, selling them back to their own companies, selling them back to investors. And we'll see how this ends up, but not normally in a good place. With cryptocurrencies part of the boom, Trump media invested $2 billion into it. Again, so that gave a bit of a boost there. Looking forward to more stablecoin as well as cryptocurrencies going forward. Now some market shifts. BABA is Alibaba, upgraded their Qwen 3 artificial intelligence, outperforming OpenAI and DeepSeek. I don't know how they measured these, but this is definitely going to get a boost from this today. It's a Chinese company, ADR. We've got Toyota and Mazda, Japanese vehicles soaring, of course. And in Nikkei, as I said, their stock market is rising on this deal with Japan. Now we've got the tale of two defense companies. Northrop Grumman, they're increasing on looking at opportunities more in the Middle East air defense. And we've also got Lockheed Martin, who missed on their earnings. So they're taking a bit of a hit at the moment. But we'll talk about them a little more in a bit. We've got yesterday I showed the chart of the inside selling. So the selling spree by executives is now sweeping across the S&P 500. So this is showing a lack of confidence by the upper management, this is all the officers of the companies, of the market going forward, looking into the weakness, and they're selling into it. So all of the big money selling into these market pumps. I want to also talk about artificial intelligence in these heat waves. They're saying the demand is driving up electricity supply costs. We've been speaking about this. The largest United States market has been pushed to a record high because of these, but it's not limited to corporations or artificial intelligence. These increases in electricity are going to hit consumers across the board. This means uh, everyone. So if you don't have a backup supply or alternate, I urge you to look into them as soon as possible. I don't know if you like solar or wind or other generations. However, this is going to increase from here. There will be blackouts going forward. I just ordered backup from a company called Robinhood. They've got hot swappable batteries as well as multiple inputs for the power solar and whatnot. So just get something so you can get outside of their system and be free with that. So we've also got Synchrony is another buy now, pay later loan company teaming up with Amazon. So they're going to be on a boost, at least for today. Now, I've spoken about this a few times before, definitely worth mentioning again, because I had said that they would be using all government subsidized and all Department of Defense with the military in order to shift over to these stable coins and the new digital system. And this is exactly what is happening. Now, there's two parts to this. The first one is the identity as well as the logging in, which is what this part is. The second is the shift and then the coupling with the digital currencies. So over 20 million Department of Defense, which is military users, get this new online login verification process using a common access card because it's going to be across multiple platforms. Biometric capabilities for both face and fingerprint recognition. This will include all DOT, which is military, their dependents, all of their family, children, parents, whatever, contractors. This includes Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, anyone that sells to them, vendors, and all retired veterans of the military, anyone getting any of the benefits, anyone on the health systems for them. Now, this legacy DS logon system, as they say, isn't the only system being replaced, but it is the largest. So this is the name of it, MyAuth. MyAuth. You can't get on there without this. So this will be expanding now. After this, they will be moving to any on government subsistence, welfare, as well as Medicare, Medicaid. So this is another major move in implementation. So with this, I wish you all a wonderful day. If you're trading, I wish you a green day. And until I see you again, my friends, resist.